The feeling of not being good enough, or imposter syndrome as it is commonly known, is a constant fear that haunts many people. This feeling can be particularly stressful for those in highly competitive fields, where there are constant reminders of how difficult it seems to get a job or a chief role. At some point, most people with self-doubt will have these feelings. However, if these feelings continue and affect your daily life and work performance, you may be experiencing imposter syndrome. We know what you're thinking: how am I not good enough? Am I really just an imposter? Is this something everyone experiences? And, does it mean I'm going to fail miserably at everything for the rest of my life? With this video, we hope to answer all of your questions about imposter syndrome, and provide some advice on how to reduce its negative impact on you. But first, let's explore what imposter syndrome is and how it affects you. What is imposter syndrome? Imposter syndrome is a concept that was introduced in 1978 by clinical psychologists Pauline Clance and Suzanne Imes. It refers to the feelings of being someone who doesn't have the skills or abilities they are perceived to have. It also refers to a fear of being exposed as a fraud. People with imposter syndrome often believe that they are not intelligent enough or don't deserve their success or position in their career. In some cases, people with imposter syndrome will even sabotage themselves so as not to be exposed as frauds. This can lead to people working hard but never really advancing in their careers because they feel like they don't deserve it. Imposter syndrome can affect anyone in any profession at any point in their career, but studies show that this condition affects women more than men. This could be due to the double effort women usually have to make to obtain management positions and get ahead, especially in tech jobs. Imposter syndrome is a general concept that can be broken down into three categories. Intimidation by superiority. This is the fear of being exposed as a fraud in front of someone perceived as superior to you. For example, this could happen when you are called on in class, or it can happen when presenting to your manager. This type of imposter syndrome can also occur when you are around someone who has more experience than you. This makes it difficult for people with imposter syndrome to learn from others and ask for help. Lack of confidence. People with imposter syndrome often do not feel confident about their abilities and competence in a specific role or field. They may lack confidence at work or have trouble taking risks because they don't think they are good enough. The lack of confidence that comes with imposter syndrome can actually make people perform worse than they normally would. Because they are afraid of failing or looking foolish in front of their peers or superiors. This causes them to work less and avoid challenging opportunities where their skills may not be up to par, which leads them to never improve themselves. Perfectionism. Perfectionism is an issue that many professionals face sooner or later. However, those with imposter syndrome tend to have a more extreme form of perfectionism. Not only do they want to be perfect, but they also want their work to seem perfect and for others to perceive them as excellent. This can cause them to procrastinate on tasks or even avoid certain opportunities because they don't think that what they are doing meets an unachievable standard of perfection. This can cause them to miss out on opportunities that could help advance their career, and is the reason why people with imposter syndrome rarely reach the top of their field or try new things. It is important that you realize that everyone has a little bit of imposter syndrome in them. No one is immune from the fear that someone else might be better than them. It is not until you truly know your own worth and start believing in yourself that you will be able to overcome imposter syndrome. Here are some tips on how you can get started. Do your research. The best way to overcome imposter syndrome is by learning about it first. You will never be able to understand your own feelings if you don't know what those feelings are in the first place. Find your confidence. Once you have a better understanding of what imposter syndrome is and how it affects people, you will be able to find your own confidence. You will realize that everyone has a little bit of imposter syndrome in them, and that there's nothing wrong with it. Just because you feel like an imposter sometimes, it does not mean that you are one. It just means that you are human. Find your passion. Once you have found your confidence, you will be able to find your passion. You will be able to focus on the things that make you happy and pursue them without guilt or worry. Build your support system. One of the best ways to overcome any problem is by surrounding yourself with supportive people who believe in you and want the best for you. This is especially true with imposter syndrome because it can make it hard for people to ask for help or take chances. So having a support system will help give them confidence that they can do it. They may even surprise themselves by accomplishing more than they ever thought possible. Imposter syndrome is not a condition that goes away overnight, however, it can be overcome and replaced with confidence and self-worth with time and effort. Have you ever felt like an imposter in your life? Share your experience with us in the comments below.